Don't move to Bismarck, North Dakota until you watch this video. I'm going to show you and tell you about the 10 best reasons why you need to move to the northwest part of Bismarck. And I'm also going to tell you about the 10 worst reasons to move to the northwest part of Bismarck. Hi, I'm Mike Quast. Together with Lana Quast, we are the Home701.com team. We love helping people make the smooth move to the Bismarck-Mandan area. If we can help you do that, our contact information is below. You can shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call, or do a Zoom meet and let us help you make that smooth move to the Bismarck-Mandan area. We've lived in this town for over 40 years and we know everything there is to know about the Bismarck-Mandan area. We're gonna take you around some of these neighborhoods. We're gonna show you some of the amenities, show you where to eat, where to work, what's the recreational activities to go to, the schools, the roads that lead into these areas and out for easy access, the grocery store, shopping centers. We'll show it to you all. So let's get at it. First thing I want to show you is if you don't know where North Dakota is, we're right at the top, right next to Minnesota and Montana. So right there. So we're going to zoom in right in the middle of the state, right to the Bismarck area. And we're going to talk about the section that you see highlighted here in green. This area, pretty much right here, pretty much everything in that square. This is a major area of growth for the Bismarck area. And there's a new school in that area. And so this is a new elementary school, and that is the Elk Ridge Elementary School. And as you can see around that school, there's empty lots and there's homes being built and there's a lot of room for expansion. So this area is definitely going to be an area where you can buy your house, work with a builder you enjoy, like what they do, how they design, how they build, the color schemes they go with, the features they give you, and the price point that they present to you. And you can build like the best house that you want. And so all the builders are working in this area. It's not isolated to one particular builder. They have different lots in there. This is not a tract home section. These are customized homes. And so that's a huge benefit. Customized homes in that area for yourself. We don't have a lot of tract homes in the Bismarck, Mandan, and North Dakota area. And so the advantage of that is you get what you want and the size you want and the features you want in the house that you're looking for. And so that's the number one feature, the positive, the pro for living in this area. The number two is proximity to the schools. You're very close to this Elk Ridge Elementary, but you're also really close to this Horizon Middle School. And Horizon Middle School is a large middle school that is located very close, 6-8 blocks from that area. And so it's very walkable and relatively brand new school, probably only been around about 10 or 15 years it's been there. And then also in that area is Century High School, which is down here, right here. And those are the highly sought after school districts in the Northwest. And so that's what people are, the growth in this area has also been driven to. There is some other features that are huge. You have easy access to Hawktree Golf Course. So from this area up in the Northwest, if you take the road up north, if you take this road up here and go here and here, very quickly you get yourself up to Hawktree Golf Course. And this is a premier, amazing golf course that you're not going to want to miss. And if you play golf at all, you're definitely going to want to try to this course. It has black sand, and that's one of the coolest features of this golf course. Just showing you a few quick little pictures. There's what they have here. You can kind of get a glimpse of the sand over there. They obviously took pictures on a foggy day, but it is gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, going back into the area here, we see Promontory Point, which is this area here. And that's also has all these different neighborhoods have the same more or less the same features. They're close to those schools. They're not far away from the interstate. As you can see, the interstate is right here. You have restaurants, grocery stores, Lowe's, all sorts of banking, and there's fast food here, and gas stations, convenience stores, UPS store is in that area as well. And all those are very easily accessible from Promontory Point, Elk Ridge, Eagle Crest, and Horizon Heights. Interesting part of Bismarck is it's really high in elevation, so it's not going to get flooded. It's way out of the floodplain. It's never going to be flooded because it's just so high up. It's very, very high up. And because of it, you're on the top of a hill, you could essentially be more exposed to the wind than you would otherwise because you're up there. You don't have trees, a lot of trees to block the wind. It's just you're sitting on the top of a hill. So those areas have gorgeous views of the river bottoms. They have gorgeous views of these rolling hills and the coulees and the different houses. And you can see all this undulating type of hills with the houses on them. And it's just a great view, but you do have that negative of the wind being present up there more so. There's walking paths there. There is a low crime rate is positive. They have stable housing market. That community is growing. Again, oil industry, agricultural industry has been big. And for North Dakota, so that is kind of driving that growth right there. Also, the medical industry is also kind of big, and that's driving that growth. We have a great medical healthcare industry in Bismarck. There's 2 large hospitals that have great systems working to improve the health of the surrounding area. So that's one of the benefits. Now the negatives, there's no school vouchers, there's high taxation, high property taxes. There is a property tax relief. I did another video on property tax relief, so that is out there as well. Everybody likes green grass, but to water your grass is very expensive. In North Dakota, they've upped the price of water, and to a point where people are frustrated with it. They prefer, it was just such a huge increase all of a sudden, so that's been a point of contention amongst the residents. I'm just going to see if I can bring you down here just so you can see some of the homes that we have, to give a viewpoint of the homes. So you can see again, 3-car garage is just a mainstay here. You cannot have anything less than 3-car garage. It's just everybody wants that 3-car garage. I mean, there's homes that have 2-car garage, but essentially everybody wants that 3-car garage. And I'll zoom out here. Elk Ridge Park has some really cool stuff here with one of these parks. I'll just show you some of the pickleball parks. You have the playground equipment. That's just a really easy. There's a new generations park over here that everybody loves because they have an ice skating rink in the winter right here. And see if I can see a lot of playground equipment. The ice skating rink is right, they put it down right here, flood that whole area. So that's also a very sought after area. It's close by. Also, a couple other things that I wanted to show you, and that includes the homes in these areas. I think it's a safe bet to say that the starting price point is $400,000 on up. I don't know if there's any homes that are more than $2 million. I would say there might be, but most of the bulk of the homes are going to be in the 6 to 1.2 range, $600,000 to $1.2 million range. It is a higher end neighborhood. It is, you got the fresher look. The trees are younger because it's newer. The sidewalks are not broken up. They're nice and they're without cracks, and they're lined up nice, and the roads are nice. Everybody has. There is a few HOA covenances, and that's not typical for most of North Dakota. They're getting kind of used to some of this, and so the people in North Dakota really like their freedoms, and so HOAs are something that is kind of new to them, but they are getting the hang of them and basically understanding that they will bring value to the property by keeping everything pretty much somewhat uniform and not allowing things that might cause properties values to decline. And so things like every neighborhood has its own covenants and what you can be allowed to do and what you can't. Because this neighborhood is new, the biggest negative of this is the specials. Specials can run $15,000, $20,000. You don't have to pay them right away. It's a special tax that is used on your property to pay for the sidewalk and the streets and the street signs and lights, all that stuff that's been put in to accommodate this new development. And so that's called a special assessment tax, and that's added in addition to your property taxes. Now, that special assessment doesn't have to be paid instantaneously. It's sent out every year with an installment that you just pay each year, usually 10 or 15 years of paying on that to get that paid off. And then as long as no work is done, then you don't have any special assessments. But if they have to tear up a road for whatever reason, then you have the special assessment again. But again, not usually as much as when you first start, because you have all those different things you have to fix, whereas, or you have to put in, the roads and the sidewalks and the signs and all that stuff. So that's the worst negative of it. These neighborhoods that, that I'm showing you are really basically just a residential area. There really is not much like right next to it. Everything is pretty much just residential. And so in order to get to anything that has restaurants, you have to come out of that residential area and get over to these areas over here, just kind of on the outskirts. And because of that, it does take you a little bit to get out of there. It takes you about 10 minutes to get to a gas station, 10 minutes to a grocery store, 10 minutes to UPS, 10 minutes to Lowe's, 10 minutes to clothing, 10 minutes to restaurants. But saying that, that's not very far, right? It takes 10 minutes to get anywhere. So it's kind of a negative, but also kind of a positive. In the same respect, being 10 minutes away from something means you're not going to have traffic going to these places in your neighborhoods. You're just going to have people that are supposed to be in your neighborhoods driving in those neighborhoods and going to their houses or friend's place or whatever the case may be. So one of the other negatives about living in this part of Northwest Bismarck is it's about 25 minutes away from the airport. The airport is pretty much exactly opposite of where this place is at. So I'll show you where the airport is in relationship to this. You see where the airport is? It's down at the bottom here. That's the airport right there. So it takes quite a while to drive downtown all the way through the town to get down to the airport. And so it is a little ways away. So that's one of the negatives, of probably the worst negative of living there. If you do a lot of traveling, the airports here, we are not a very big center, so you have to fly to Minneapolis or Denver or down to Dallas to get to a hub city. And because of that, usually you fly out at like 6 in the morning. So you have to get there at 4, maybe 5 in the morning to get on planes so that you can get to those hub cities for those early morning flights to whatever location you get to. And again, the other way, when you come back, usually it's late at night. Now, you can work to your advantage sometimes, but not always. So that's just something that, it is a little ways away. And so because of that, the other negative is we don't have a taxi service in town. At times we do, at times we don't. It's been bought and sold and shut down. We do have a Lyft and an Uber service, but again, that depends on how many people are wanting to do it to work at that time. So there might not be enough. So you kind of you're at the mercy of the Uber and the Lyft drivers to see if there's enough of them for you when you decide to go to the airport. Or you have to take your car and you can park there. There's lots of parking there. It's not overly expensive. It's like $10 a day to park your car, which usually isn't too bad. That way you have a car when you come home in the evening, late hours. If you're on that last flight from Minneapolis, a lot of times that pulls in at 10:30, and it's just kind of nice to have that car for you anyway. All right, well, so a lot of professionals live in these areas. These are because of the higher incomes associated with professionals such as physicians, lawyers, business owners, different people in the oil industry, politicians who live in this area. So there's a bunch of people that move to this area from out of state that come in, they found a great job in those spots, and now they're moved into those areas. So a lot of times you'll see people moving into neighborhoods that they have friends in similar careers, and so you'll find a lot of people that have similar careers located in that region. Because this area is under construction, you're always kind of, if you're right on the area of construction, if you haven't lived in one of those areas, what I can tell you is there's early morning noises from the heavy-duty machinery, the backup beep. Everybody that's lived in a construction area knows what that sounds like. It's this beep, 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 and it's never ending. It just never seems to end. And it runs constantly at, they're always out there in the morning trying to get out, get a lot of work done for the day. And so you'll have a lot of dust that's kicked up from all those big machines and the dirt that's being, moved around to accommodate these new houses. And so you'll have that, and you'll have different heavy duty machines coming in for various reasons, whether it's to level the ground or whether it's to dig holes or to put down some pipes or water lines or whatever the case may be. So you have all those different machinery going and trucks moving, around back and forth. That can often be constant, and so it's a little harder to, when you're in an area where there's a lot of brand new development, to really appreciate the beauty of it until more of the properties get established. And at that point, then it becomes a little easier and a little bit less noisy, becomes more picturesque as well. And one secret to this area is at some point they are planning to put a bridge that goes across from Bismarck to Mandan, and it's gonna line up and go across somewhere in that area there. It could be off a ways. In any case, it might be over here like this. And that's gonna make everything very accessible from the interstate to this area. And if that ever does go in, that would plug it into these different highways that would make it easy to access Bismarck, South Bismarck, middle of Bismarck, North Bismarck, and even further North Bismarck just from that roadway. All right, well, I hope you found this beneficial. These are great areas to live in. There's a lot of benefits to live in these areas. They're sought after. These are like best of the best areas to live in the Bismarck-Mandan area. They have a lot of amenities. The schools are good. The proximity to the interstate is good. It is easy to access pretty much most of Bismarck, just given the location where you're at with that interstate system. And if this area is of any interest to you and we can help you make that smooth move to the Bismarck-Mandan area, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or hook up a Zoom meet, and we will help you make that smooth move to the Bismarck-Mandan area. And you're not going to want to miss like some of the videos that I do on the neighborhoods as I walk through the neighborhoods. So check out the Elk Ridge area, check out the Promontory Point area, check out the Horizon Heights area and the Eagle Crest areas. All those are great areas to live in. They're all right around each other and have the same general amenities and features and homes. Some are a little bit older and started before the other ones, and they're just a continued growth of homes in that area and little neighborhoods as they grow. Catch you on the next video.